Hello viewers, I'm SB and welcome back to Mobius Front 83, where the sharp-eyed among you might notice there's been a little change. So there was a patch after yesterday's episode went out. The patch notes say, today's update includes an overhaul to the missions in Chapter 1 to make them more varied and interesting, and generally bring them in line with the missions in Chapters 2 and 3. I'm real curious about what that means, but it's also had kind of a weird effect on our save in particular. So when I sat down to get ready here, I realized that there's no optional objective on level 7 anymore. Now the optional objective is on level 6, and at first I was like, how could they just do that? How could they just rip out the thing from one mission and put it in another? But actually what they've done is, they took the old level 1, which was not really a level, it was just a UI tutorial, and compressed it into this space before level 1, and then moved everything backwards, so this is the old mission 7, but they didn't update our completion stats. The game still thinks, oh, you beat 6 levels. So the thing that was Mission 7 is now Mission 6 and marked as completed for us, but we still have to play it. So that's what we're going to do. It's kind of a weird problem, and it's probably a problem that only I am having. Not a big deal. So we got to go capture this TIS-330 while also destroying some more surface-to-air missile batteries. In addition to missions getting more varied, the only other patch note was tracked vehicles now have a small speed bonus on roads, so tanks will move faster on roads, I guess. This is pretty weird, right? We're just going to get a huge... They must have deployed already. I was going to say, there's no way they're going to give us a huge deployment bonus. Well, I mean, if there's one thing that we learned yesterday, it's that tanks. Always tanks. So I'm gonna... Do we want to deploy 3 tanks? I kind of want to deploy 3 tanks. We have no idea where the surface-to-air missile batteries are, but we do know it is not a good idea to use a helicopter to look for them. I think maybe we're gonna try... Using anything other than 3 tanks feels like not learning my lesson, but also... 3 tanks is definitely a strategy that's, like, maximally effective when you already know where everything on the mission is. Let's try something a little bit different here. And then, do we want mortars, or... It feels like it's probably mortars. The extremely limited ammunition on these utility trucks makes them, like, pretty hard to justify. Alright, let's try it like this, see what's what. So this unit moves at speed 4 on roads. That's an interesting way of wording that. It makes it a little unclear how it functions if you get onto a road in the middle of your move. Like, does it only move at speed 4 if its whole move is on a road? We might have to test a little bit. So yeah, you definitely don't gain movement if you enter the road late. It is probably the case. Is it the same thing for you? It is. Okay, so no, you can move at speed 4 if you enter a road off the first tile of your movement. This is a little bit not exactly what's happening, huh? They tried to compress a more complicated behavior into a small number of words so it fits on the button and is easily comprehensible, but in order to do so, they gave up some precision. Well, it's fine. I think we will just kind of go along the road for the moment. My guess is all the stuff's going to be right here. And that being the case, getting a bunch of dudes into the woods south of that is probably an alright idea. We're just doing this little leapfrog thing so that we get vision. If we moved the front tank forward first and it turned out that there was, like, a dangerous situation ahead, it could be a real problem. Let's see, 6 tiles, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if we get the mortar carrier to here, it can fire on those guys with no danger. Obviously, there's some danger coming through the woods here into what could be anything at all. Okay, they're just gonna run, because the tanks could just charge them and machine gun them down pretty easily. And now they're not set up. Now they're in a real pickle. Alright, so we have an anti-tank crew, we have a heavy machine gun jeep, which is not a threat to the vehicles at all. I mean, I think we just get aggressive here. Fingers crossed? Okay. Could have been real bad if there was stuff waiting, like, right here. Alright, well, they are not in much of a position to threaten me, but I am certainly in position to threaten them. And in fact, I think that anti-tank crew might be... Oh no, they're just out of range. Well, then I will move forward. Alright, we just have other people target for us. So, that's a shame. We can't get adjacent. Alright, I'm just gonna keep doing this. You may as well take that shot. And then I think we just approach with the tanks. Like, I don't think there's any reason. I suppose actually we could roll both the tanks up and just machine gun down this anti-tank group. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. And that leaves us in range to run down here and grab these guys, I think. Oh no, actually it doesn't. Only one of the two tanks will be able to reach those guys. Well, we have a mortar crew. We'll figure it out. It won't be a big deal. But I do think it's a good idea to get rid of these guys as early as possible. We do have to watch that weapons team as well. Alright, so they're going to deploy 5 more points of stuff here. And it could come in right here. It didn't, but it could have. Now this is going to be a little tricky because we've come so far forward. It's actually going to be a little difficult for us to know, for us to be able to get our reinforcements in position. So we can't see what they did with that weapons crew, huh? Thing is, I just don't care about these guys. Everything we have out here is armored. And that APC is going to drop off men in the forest eventually. Even so, it's a little difficult to care about those guys over there. Alright, bad luck. I mean, that's not that bad. That luck was fairly average, actually. Alright, you guys just roll forward. So 3, 4, 5, 6. So we would have to roll these guys really, or this guy really forward to be able to even threaten that anti-tank team. But I guess it's pretty safe to do. These guys just have normal rifles. We are in remarkably little danger. So it might make sense to bring in like tank plus helicopter here. I know helicopter against the anti-air battery, but nothing else is going to be able to catch up. This is just how we get more bodies into the combat, right? I think let's run it like that. So are they going to try to set up? Or I'm real curious what their plan is. Okay. Don't think that was real smart. I think that's an error on their part. Oof. All of a sudden, all these tanks. Well, we have some pretty obvious plays here. So this tank is probably, unless we get lucky and we kill both of their tanks, I'm losing a tank here. Seems like almost certain. You can't... Okay, let's start by shooting at this thing. See if we can... Okay, really, minimum damage. Minimum damage and then 1 away from minimum damage. So we probably just, we may honestly have just lost the mission. It's like a non-zero chance that result is so bad that it's going to make it impossible for me to even hold. Because now they both get to do stationary fire, and they could potentially kill, like, they're pretty likely to kill this tank, and they could get that one as well. And if they do, I think we are actually just dead. I don't think there's any recovering from that. So let's see. Your cannon can do 2 damage sometimes. I think it's fine to just leave this thing stationary and fire. Yep, okay, more randomness. That's always good for your strategy game, right? My figuring is these guys are just going to fire at the tanks anyway, so it kind of doesn't matter. Alright, let's set up our own anti-tank units. So I think we definitely deploy infantry here. The question is, where does the anti-armor team go? I think we're throwing these guys out here. I think the anti-armor team is kind of going in the open. And again, if we can bait them into firing at it, it's probably just fine. I don't really want them in the open, but I do think that this space is not where I want them either, because they're still too easy to kill there. This unit cannot be killed and actually represents a health threat to that tank. And then you need to drop somewhere that's going to actually be helpful. And we're sort of experiencing a paucity of places that are going to actually be helpful. Yeah, that's a tricky one. I mean, really the answer is over here. Over here is where I want to put down. But that's 2 more turns of movement. I guess I'm gonna do this for right now, and then maybe next turn we move to there, maybe next turn we land and just start unloading guys. To some degree, it's gonna depend on what they do. Alright, fingers crossed that they don't get any luckier with their tank fire than we did. Okay. Yeah. So we're probably doomed. We do have some anti-tank shots that we get to use. Maybe we can get a little bit of vengeance here. Nope. Boy. What now? Probably I shoot at the helicopter rather than trying to shoot the tanks down. It's like roll the dice to maybe do 1 damage. And we're gonna roll our own tank in, and with them having multiple teams moving in like this is pretty tricky. I think we are actually just going to land. I'm gonna put out rifle team here, and I think I would rather have a rifle team here than the anti-tank team, and frankly the anti-tank team might even just stay in the helicopter. This helicopter can't be destroyed in a single hit. Yeah, I think that's right. Okay, those guys are down, that's important. Now that this tank no longer has a tank to shoot at, I think it does matter that we back up. And I guess you make for the woods. You're probably never going to get to fire if you do that. But if you stay put, you're just going to get helicoptered. So, like, what do I think they're going to do? I think they're going to use 1 tank to blow up this vehicle, 1 tank to shoot at this guy if he doesn't die to the helicopter. Like, the question is it better to try to set up right here and hope that they're so target baffled they don't shoot at us, or back up and in doing so probably lose our ability to shoot at anything? Neither option's good, but I think this one's slightly better. Boy, us rolling 2-3 on our 2 to 6 damage attacks, and then them rolling who knows what and at least 5. It's like absolutely heartbreaking. And again, it's just like there's no strategy involved there, right? There's nothing I could do to counteract that. It's just you win or lose due to bad luck. Alright, that's a shame. Again, winning or losing due to bad luck. So, yeah, like I said, probably it was going to be the case if we backed these guys up that they did not get to do anything. It's fine. Oh, right, the helicopter's machine gun can't shoot upward. So let's focus the mortar fire on the rifle team, the forward rifle team. Okay, swing and a miss. You can't do that. You can finish this guy off, which is probably what you need to do. And then you guys get in the helicopter, I guess? It's not exactly what I want to be doing. Yeah, get in the helicopter. Everybody get in the helicopter. And we could disengage the anti-tank team here. They'll get shot, and then probably what will happen is this tank will roll forward and shoot them again. But honestly, baiting that tank into doing that and keeping it close so these guys can attack it might be worthwhile. It might be the best thing that we could get out of this anti-armor team, frankly. I'm going to try it. We're going to try using these guys as bait. And then a question arises of whether we want to move the helicopter. I think the answer is yes. I think we do want to move the helicopter over to here. And you guys could walk forward. At this point, the tank is so baffled with targets that this is probably not actually dangerous. It can only shoot at one thing, right? Oh, they have another tank. Well, that changes the math. Alright, you guys are absolutely just going to set up and possibly die. You are, without question, doing this. Let's do all the stuff that we know for sure we're doing first. And then I think that's mostly the really obvious stuff. You roll forward to here and fingers crossed get that kill, because if you don't get that kill, you may well die in response. Okay, pretty good. Pretty damn good, in fact. You might get blown up, but you need to disengage. You need to disembark your passengers very badly. Like, this is huge. And well, that complicates things a little bit. I guess do this? Yeah, that complicates things a little bit. Alright. They are going to be firing at us from the trees for the rest of the mission, probably. I'm going to roll the APC over here to be a threat to those guys. You probably just have to back up. And then we have a little bit of mortar fire to try to clean up some of these dudes. So these guys, I think, are actually totally under control. I'm going to use the mortar fire to work those ones, if we can. Yeah. And then you just fall back. Things didn't quite unfold the way I wanted them to, but I think the bait was actually still pretty effective. And now they have a threat here that they really have to deal with. Unfortunately, they're about to get another tank. Yeah, it seems like using anti-armor teams to bait the enemy is pretty effective. They recognize the threat. So there's nothing you can do at all except this, so you should probably do this. These guys, I don't even know if they want to move forward, honestly. You guys obviously get murked. Minimum damage is a real bummer there. Because I would much rather these guys be able to shoot there, right? And then we'll try to get these guys this way. Okay, that shot, it shot in the darkness, I'm assuming. Probably dangerous to be using the mortars to shell. Hey, look at that. It's that tank I was talking about, and also a guy who's going to kill me instantly. The good news is, this is clearly where that other mortar shot landed, so we still got some value out of it. I sort of don't want to move you forward. You guys probably need to get back in the trees for a little bit of safety from that helicopter. And then... yeah, we may as well just run up here like this, right? These guys can't do any damage to a tank. Alright, so we're going to have to weather a little bit more storm here, and obviously things are not going ideally. I think we're going to move the chopper back here. I might leave these guys set up. Let's move the chopper back to here instead. And you guys are not going anywhere. We may pick these two dudes back up and move them somewhere else. Yep. This is the danger of charging forward into territory that you cannot yet see. So your gun only has a range of 2. That's a shame. Alright, go ahead and land. I think this makes sense. Just embark those guys. It does make me extremely nervous not to be able to see the enemy tank that we know is out there. So we're going to do this, and then you are going to have to move forward. I think I'm going to keep these guys in place, because I bet this tank is going to approach us, and we can shoot all the way to here. If the tank decides to stop right there in the bottleneck, then we can't hit it, and that's a shame, but if we move forward and it comes forward at the same time, we can't hit it anyway, right? So who cares? Their tanks have only 3 movement. So he'd move to here. We can't hit him this coming turn if we move. And then the next turn he comes through, and then we spend that turn setting up. Yeah, we still can't hit him. So I don't know that it makes any sense to do that. And we can't move you far enough back to hit anything. I think I don't go anywhere. I think I just sit. I think that tank's going to come to us, is my suspicion. So we're going to let it do that. They seem to be pretty aggressive with their vehicles. Less so with their ground, their infantry forces. I mean, the move backward was never really an available option, so there wasn't much we could have done about that. They're not going to move forward on us, though. So we can do this. We can hammer this guy. We can try to move some... Oh, hey! Well, they can't hit the helicopter with the anti-tank missiles, but they will be able to do 1 damage to us. I think we just discovered our mortar target for the turn, though. Well, that's not great. Actually, yeah, I'm gonna try to mortar these guys. We'll get these guys soon. I mean, next turn we're gonna deploy infantry around them, so that's gonna be pretty ugly for them. And yeah, I don't feel very motivated to move, honestly. One thing we could do, I suppose, is move this guy into a better position to shoot at the helicopter, but it's just gonna fly away. That doesn't make any sense. Let's leave him here where he can be a threat to these 2 forest spaces. Interesting from the tank. I don't know why the tank moves at all in that situation. Okay. Well, that nonsense is done with. You guys get down here. Let's have... I mean, the anti-armor team really wants to go right there. I should have shelled this guy before landing. Because I bet you can't accidentally shell a flying helicopter. But you may well be able to accidentally shell one that's on the ground. Okay. Turns out, problem solved. So let's deploy you guys first. Making sure the coast is clear. Now, these guys might try something, but I think we're ready. And I suppose we have a question now of whether it makes sense to move the APC. Right now, the APC is making these guys want to bottleneck real badly around this forest space, which I think is okay. We could move it forward to a position where it can potentially threaten those guys, but I think actually, with our mortars being the way they are, I think we're fine. So, what does it mean to capture the TIS-330? Maybe it's in a tile on the map somewhere? Interesting. Almost no movement from them. Hugely bad, in my opinion. Very wrong. So how do we wanna punish them for that? Because I mean that's what we're doing, right? I think we start shelling their infantry crews. Actually, let's shell these guys. Yeah, let's not put up with any of that noise. This thing still has its heavy machine gun. And then we can roll the tank up. This doesn't change their ability to hit our tank at all. We can just start dealing some damage. And now it's not even safe for these guys to move up on our anti-armor team anymore, because they'll just be killed. Yeah, if they're cool to sit here and have this be the status quo, I am also cool with it. Is there something more valuable? I guess our chopper could be doing the thing could be looking for the TIS, if it really is around here somewhere. Aha! A signals team. Destroy this unit to capture the TIS-330. Well, I think we just may. So we've managed to recover from what I think was a pretty serious bit of bad luck. Okay, that is just fine by me. So now we get to anti-tank rocket. Please don't roll minimum damage. It did. Of course it did. How could it not? Boy, if it hadn't... Yeah, that's tough, man. If it hadn't rolled minimum damage, then I would feel a lot more secure rolling our tank forward to attack that thing. But I think it's very unsafe to do so now. Alright, that one didn't roll minimum at least. So this becomes trickier then. We don't have a lot of great ways of dealing with that tank. It may just stay put and fire at that infantry unit, and if it does, it could kill them. So maybe the right play is to charge it with this thing. We could potentially we could roll the dice and try to do 1 damage. This APC is not accomplishing anything else anymore. So I kind of think that's what I'm going to do. And we're going to let that be the... going to let that open up the field here. And unfortunately, the helicopter can't shoot these guys without getting adjacent to them. Oh, their weapon can't shoot air, though. So what, we would have to land next to them, that ends our turn, they shoot, we shoot, they shoot, we shoot. We do win that fight. And we don't have anything else that we can use this helicopter for, so I think that's okay. Oh, you know what? I think I did not realize that we were out of anti-tank rockets. It's never happened before, so I kind of didn't even realize that was a thing. Well, problem. And if we can get rid of some of this stuff, we can create a situation here where... Here, we know we're doing this. Let's do the stuff we know for sure we're doing first. We know we're doing that. We could just try to pressure the anti-air things with infantry. That's going to be tough to do while they still have active infantry, though. Yeah, I sort of don't want to do that. So you're not a threat to the tank anymore. You really kind of can't do anything. You can't shoot through this path in the woods. I mean, I just don't... I feel like most of our units don't have any plays. We're gonna get this done, and then... I don't even know what. I believe they don't have vision of our tank. So it's possible their tank just rolls forward. Nope, he's just gonna play it safe. Alright, well, we're gonna get our TIS, that's for sure. So just move you up here. We'll keep bombarding these guys. I suppose it is the case that, actually, we'll never be able to damage that tank with our infantry. Yeah, it's just gonna drive over here and kill them. So there's no sense in even having them over here. This might actually be safe. I wish I'd moved the tank first. I was just thinking we can pull these guys back because there's no, like, they're just going to get killed by that tank. But it was right here, right? I bet that tank can't shoot this tile. Nope, I was wrong. Well, then... And of course we don't do any damage. You know, it's very important that we minimize the chance that we get anything done next turn. Alright, well, blitz them. And if they roll 5 or 6 damage on their stationary tank shot against our tank, then we just lose. Oh, they didn't take the stationary shot. Which is objectively the wrong play, given that we know they had it. Yeah, I can't fathom why they wouldn't do that. Maybe it's because they know it won't matter. It's not like we could ever damage them. So yeah, this is we're still very much in a place where we could just lose to a bad die roll here. And that's only true because we got a bad die roll first. And now they could lose to a bad die roll. And they did. Hooray! Alright, these guys cannot actually threaten us. And that's the end of the mission. Oh yeah, no, you're good. You're fine. Don't come over here. Yeah, it's really frustrating that the way the game is designed, tanks are like super, super, super important, but all tank combat is hugely random. It's a bad combination of things. I do feel like if you get the enemy down to no units remaining except for the anti-air units that actually cannot attack, they could just scoop. They could just be like, okay, you got us. You don't have the shot, do you? Oh, you do. Go for it. Ah, you tried your best. What more could I ask? Alright, and we did in fact capture that computer. Which I'm pretty excited about, if I'm being honest. You've captured an enemy TIS-330 radio computer and unlocked the Signals Intelligence minigame. Destroy the remaining Signals teams hidden throughout the rest of the campaign to unlock the remaining puzzles and decode their secret messages. I wonder if that'll have any actual effect on the game. Hold on, it didn't show us the post story, because it thinks we'd played that mission before.
Fuck, man. You alright? This fucking guy tried to kill me.
No, this is the same post story, just after a different level. I guess it's true that the post story stuff is not actually linked to what happened in the levels at all.
Messed up, man.
Do you?
Alright, I'll just click to this.
I'm gonna.
Yeah,
Didn't hear.
well then you must have.
Yeah.
It should probably be like a... Okay, there we go. There should probably be just like a skip to the end button. Alright, well, let's have a look at this. This is a little, I imagine, going to be a little bit more of the basic Zachtronics kind of thing. So I did not play TIS 100, but I do have a little bit of experience with processor design, so that's probably going to help. This is the tutorial, is it? Feels like they didn't include some of the information that I was expecting. Okay, so it's just the same. Feels like. How do we run? Can I rotate these? I mean, obviously we can run this to the out over here, but I'm assuming we have to connect both. Oh, I can move them. They're not, well then. Here, this is probably... Okay, so... I said that thing about microprocessor design. To be fair, it's been a few years since I was in school. Okay, so this can only run signal to one thing at a time? These don't do anything when I click on them. Except, while I'm holding the button down, temporarily turn the thing off. Well... So hold on a second. We're just gonna play a little bit. We're just gonna fiddle with it and see what comes of it. So this gives us nothing. I'm actually... What if we cause another... Sorry, we insert another split like this? So wait, why does that break? Hold on. Oh, right, because if we... Why doesn't that work? So in this... Tutorial is kind of a weird description for this puzzle. Huh. So this thing wants... Alright, these are actually two different outputs, right? There it is. Okay. So this thing... These little, the little boxes here matter. I was just sort of like, that's just visual noise. That just makes it look processory. But no, this totally matters. The splitter puts out this type of signal. All right, I'm getting there. Again, maybe tutorial's too strong a word for what happened here, but we figured it out. Signals can be split, but become weaker in the process. Amplifiers will make weak signals strong again. If a signal gets too weak, it will be lost, and some of the outputs want a weak signal, not a strong signal. Okay, I follow. Filters. So here we got some signal filters. You want a thing that doesn't have a middle line? Okay, I don't know what that piece does. So let's play with it. Let's just figure it out. So pass through the high line. And if we put it in an amplifier, nothing happens to it. So we want to split this first, right? Because we want to have two full signals. Although it looks like that is not, in fact, what happens. The splitter creates a signal that is just empty. Alright, what does this thing do? So hold on a second. Let me just play around with these pieces a little bit. So if I block this out, okay. So we don't want to use an amplifier. We don't want that strong signal. Unless we split it again afterward. To weaken it. Yeah. Okay. So then we need a way of restoring the lost lines, or we need to figure out what the hell this thing's for. Can I move this around? Okay, let me move this over here. We're just gonna figure it all out live. So this should put out... This takes into... Oh, okay. I don't know why. I was looking at this and I was thinking, why would it pass the signals? That's not how circuit diagrams work. But right, it's a uniter. It unites two signal lines. So... This weakens our signal too much. We put in an amplifier to strengthen it. We re-weaken it. We cut out everything but the bottom line and on one side, everything but the top line on the other side, and then we reunion the signals. Bam! Circuits are easy, is the thing. Filters isolate a single frequency range while removing all others. Mixers add two input signals together into a single output signal. Obviously, that's the easiest thing in the world. Listen, we'll get there eventually. Multipliers. Okay, so that shifts the signal range up. This shifts the signal range down. Interesting. So if we shift the signal range up twice, we lose a ton of it. And then we can, if we shift it down, we lose it entirely. Okay. So, this is going to be another amplify to split. We shift the signal range up twice on this side and down twice on this side, and then we reunite them. Multipliers increase or decrease the frequencies of a signal. Frequency ranges shifted off the top or bottom of the range will be lost. Yeah, this is definitely... This feels way more like a traditional Zachtronics game. I mean, it basically is, right? This is probably what TIS 100 was. Okay, so that's interesting. What does this guy do? Shifts you into left and right. This is just, yeah. So this keeps the signal the same as it runs through. Okay, and we only get a diagram on changes. So we need to separate these, and then we need to amplify them, and then we need to combine them back with another, like, what happens here? Okay, that's pretty much what I expected. So how do we get the middle line back? If we amplify the signal first, then we do a split. There we go. So we can have a middle line and this. If we unite these and then unite them with the existing weakened signal, do they do strength? Okay, yes, they do strength math. Okay, that works. So we apply weak signal to weak signal and it becomes strong signal. Decouplers separate a signal into its left and right phases. Each output signal will also contain a weaker copy of the center phase. This is fun. This I'm way into. Alright, so we need to put out strong center and... boy, okay. So... combining this with that will produce a bad result. One thing we can do with this signal is just shift it up and then down and wipe out the top and bottom row. If we do this thing, that output's good. But that doesn't solve this other problem. What happens if you combine a strong signal with a weak signal? Are there only 3 phases? Like we can do this. Right, because that's going to weaken it anyway. Never mind. We don't even have to ask that question. So this output's good, and then we want to do a union of these two, right? Yeah. Easy, obviously. Obviously, that's how you would do that. Clean air and water, area sparsely populated, promising. Note some mechanized infantry and armor approaching from south, Randy out. You know, even if this never has an actual mechanical effect, even if it never gives us an advantage in a mission, it'll still be cool to see their transmissions and get, like, the other half of the story. Alright, and then we gotta find the rest of the levels out in the world. I wonder if it'll always be marked when there's a level coming up that has one? You know what, as long as we're looking at the supplemental material, let's check out the Solitaire game as well. So, it is at this point assumed that a Zachtronics game will contain some kind of Solitaire variant. It's a thing they've been doing for a while. This one is like it says it's Cribbage Solitaire. I'd never heard of that before, so I went and looked it up on Wikipedia, and this does not actually appear to be Cribbage Solitaire. It's a variant of Cribbage Solitaire. But the basic idea is we have an area over here called the Stack. Yeah, we have an area over here called the Stack. We play cards from the bottom of one of the piles to the stack, attempting to get these conditions made true. We're just trying to score points and try to get to 61. You are considered to have done a good job if you get 61 points off of a 52 card deal. It's not the trickiest thing in the world, but it does take a little bit of forethought. So, like, you get 2 points if the first card played is a jack. You get 2 points if the stack total is exactly 15, but you keep playing until either you hit 31 or there are no cards left that are available that would keep the total under 31. So you can get these 2 points by making it 15 and then keep playing and get these 2 points by making it 31 afterward. High scoring seems to rely very, very heavily on either getting a a couple 3 of a kinds or a 4 of a kind and hitting runs. Because as you play them, you'll score this bonus multiple times, right? If we were to play 3, 4, 5, we would get 3 points. If we were then to play a 6 on it, we would get 4 points. If we then played a 7 on it, we would get 5 points. And it's not just, you don't just score for the length of the run, you score for each successive length of the run. So we can kind of do that here. We can sort of set up, like, we can play ace 4. Ace is always low in this game. We can play ace 4, and then play 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And they don't have to be played in order, but the runs have to happen in order. Like, if you played 3, 6, 7, you wouldn't get points for the 3 run, but then if you played the 4 and 5 into it, you would get points for the 5 run. So you still want to kind of play them in order so that you score each successive run. So let's try... If we do ace 4, that's going to put us on 5 value. Also, playing 2, 3, or 4 of the same card in a row is worth some points, so let's start it like this. We'll play ace 4, 4. That'll get us to 9. We're not going to be able to cleanly hit 15 here without sacrificing some of our run points, and I don't want to do that. So we're going to go 3, 5. That gets us a 3 run. 6 gets us a 4 run. 7 gets us a 5 run. And we're already at 14 points off of 7 cards, which is pretty good. And you can see we're at 30, and we don't have a 1 to add, so this stack is completed. If you're trying to get 61 points off a 52-card deal, obviously you need to be scoring more than 1 point per card on average, so I'm pretty happy with that open. Here we can play Jack 5 and score 4 points off of 2 cards right then and there. But then that doesn't really leave us with a lot of other options beyond that. Well, I am going to do it. I like that. So open with Jack, hit 15. And then we would need 16 points from here. We can make that happen. We could do King 4 and then one of the 2s that'll be exposed. But looking at this board, I'm kind of wondering if maybe it would be better to try to set off 3 of a kind on 2s, because a set of 3 of the same value played consecutively is worth 6 points. It's pretty good. So if we were going to set that up, how would we do it? We got to play off this king, that 4, and then a 9-10 over here. So we can't do that all right now. Obviously, this stack can't contain 19 more value. So we'd have to do it in pieces. I mean, if we play this 9, if we play this 9, we just kill the stack. Then we go king, king for the next stack, which gets us 2 points. 2 points off effectively 3 cards. It's not awesome. But it sets us up to go for a lot of 2s. We're going to have to play the 4 as well, just because there's not enough... Sorry, just trying to think this out. So king doesn't actually kill the stack. We have to play king 4, and then it'll make us play a 2. If there's a 2 showing, we'll have to play it. And actually, we have that same problem with the 9, right? If we play 9, it becomes 24, but we can still legally play the 4, so we must. And then afterward, we can still legally play the 2. So actually, there's no way to get the 3 2s together. Which means that we should just play the king, because at least this way we can hit... at least this way we hit the 31 and we get some points out of it. So this stack ended up being 6 points on 5 cards, which isn't bad. That's fine. And then we just do triple 9s, which I didn't even see, but seems perfectly fine. That's going to eat the 2 as well, but it doesn't matter. Yeah, it's fine. Right, that's 8 points there. That's pretty good. And then we gotta burn this 2, unfortunately. I gotta say, this feels like a pretty good start to me. 28 points this early in. So, we can make a 15 happen if we play 10, 2, 3, and then follow it with double 6s. It's not awesome. 10, 2, 3, and then double sixes puts us on 27, so we would need 4 points to make the 31, which we can do. We can do that. Yeah, okay, so we're going to play like 10, 2, 3, hit 15, double threes for 2 more points, 6, 6 for 2 more points, and then ace takes us to 31 for another 2. See? Easy. Solitaire's easy. Here's the thing about Solitaire. It's just so easy. And then we just, like... We got a lot of face cards here. So, we can play Jack, King, King. Obviously, we want to open Jack. Yeah, I don't think there's any reason not to do that. And then we got a question. We can play the 5 to go to 15, but if we do that, we can't get a 2 of a kind or a run. Because, like, we could just play 10 Queen, right? And 10 Jack Queen's a run, we get 3. That's the best thing to do points-wise, I think. Well, we do potentially have the ability to play triple queens for 8 points, but we need to do that onto an empty stack, right? Because that's 30 points by itself. So if we were going to do that, how do we set that up? We can play 5 now, then play 10, and that kills this stack. And then we play King, 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 8 for our next stack, which is not amazing. I think it's right, though. King, King to do this, and then just play whatever to kill this stack. And then go Queen, Queen, Queen. Sure looks to me like we might reach 61. Then we have a pair of 8s. There's not really a way to turn this pair of 8s into anything else, though. And we can't even get a 7 down first to make it 15 on the way up. So I think we just play the pair of 8s like pretty much naked here. And then the 4-7 gives us 27, which will kill the stack. Or the king. The king doesn't kill the stack. King 4 leaves us at 30, which kills the stack without any further points. But basically, I'm just trying to uncover jacks at this point without spending our 5. So we're going to end up spending the 4 no matter what. I guess spending the 5 here, going 5 king for 2 points would have been the same value as going jack 5 now for the 2 points of making 15. So we didn't actually change anything there. Also, I was not looking ahead very much, but this is interesting, 777s. I've just kind of lucked into a good score here. So I think actually we play the jack now to kill the stack, right? Because we won't be able to play any of the 7s on a 25. And then we open this next one with just a very large number of points. And we do have the 31. We may as well take it. And then from here, it looks like our scoring opportunities get pretty thin. Like Queen 3-2 is points, so we make a 15 happen. Oh, playing the ace here gives us a run of 3. And then 15 points to 31 is not doable. We play the 10 to kill the stack. And then 9-6 gives us another 15, and then we're just, out. Okay, 73 is actually a damn fine score, if I do say so myself. There was a little bit of strategy there and also quite a bit of luck. But yeah, that's that. I've played more than a couple of games of that already. Finally, I will show off these PDFs because I think it's really cool that they include this stuff, but I don't have a scene set up for that yet, so that maybe we can do that a little bit at the beginning of next episode and then play some more levels. And we're going to do one more level here before we stop. So, this is another control point level. It looks quite similar to a previous one. And it looks pretty... I gotta pay more attention at the beginning. I didn't see what their deployment was. So what do we have here? Oh, we have a howitzer. So it has a 32 range single damage shot. I mean, that's interesting. Can't deploy a tank here, so we gotta just wait on that. An anti-tank missile vehicle with 4 ammo. No basic machine gun, but 4 ammo is definitely compelling. This is an observation helicopter, no gun. And then one of these heavy weapon things. Okay. Well, I kind of want one of these guys. This seems actually pretty good. As far as limited ammo vehicles go, this one seems pretty good. So you have 6 range, and there's no indication that you can fire over obstacles. So you probably want to stay close to the rest of the team. So we're gonna need spotters and direct line of sight. And then we probably want, I don't know that I'm wild about this thing for 2 points. Like, it's kind of just, in most cases, this is just going to be worse than the mortar thing, right? I guess it has it does have a machine gun, at the very least. It can defend itself against helicopters. But also, helicopters can't deal damage to it. It's armored. Yeah, I don't know, man. That's weird. Let's grab one of these, I think. I don't think I want an observation helicopter. So the question is, like, do you take a couple trucks and just, like, run a ton of dudes? Or maybe, like, truck full of guys and also M151? Or do we want to just go for another APC? The APC itself, honestly, isn't that valuable. A lot of the value of the APC is the men inside of it, so probably it would be better. I do think we want the anti-armor team, and the thing itself having a point of armor is certainly useful. But maybe we'll try this and this. Yeah. I like the Jeep being able to move and fire in the same turn is awfully nice. I don't think I put these in the correct positions, but I think these are the units we want. Alright, so do we want you to capture the point? Yeah, I guess I don't... There's not really a good reason for you to be in front, so we may as well. Okay, we kind of sorted out our positioning, I think. Alright, they have tanks already. So they have their own anti-tank tanks, and they don't have to set up. And they have 4 ammo. What the hell? Why is that okay? Well, you should set up. Yeah, that's a problem. This is a big problem. Alright, I think we're going to be deploying some guys into the woods here next turn. So they can't fire and move their machine guns or their anti-tank weaponry, which is good, but this is a traditional tank and it can do whatever it wants, because tanks are very good in this video game. Boy, you just have to fall back, right? Does that guy's weapon actually have... Oh, right, he's the anti-tank. Yeah, never mind. Yeah, you just have to, like, really fall back. I think we're gonna... So here I'm planning to deploy anti-tank gun here, normal infantry there. So moving this guy forward doesn't actually give him a lot more space to deploy into because we're already blocking some of that. I'm not sure where it makes sense. Honestly, I might just deploy now. It's just like fortify the woods over here and we'll try to hold strong for a minute, but we gotta play very defensively. I'm gonna drive the truck back and around and do some scouting. We're gonna pull a lot of units in 3 turns, and they're gonna be right on top of us because we managed to pull back to this position, so I'm hopeful that that will result in some victory for us. Maybe I'm changing my mind on this a little bit. I think I'm going to deploy... Because, I mean, obviously what we really want is for the anti-tank weapon to be here. My concern with that, of course, is that it will simply be killed. But they do only, as far as we know, have one thing that can move and fire, and it can only do 1 damage. But that is half of our life. Like, we would only get to fire the weapon a single time. That's tough, man. You're not, like... Yeah, no. None of this stuff is a particular threat to infantry. So we are definitely going to make some infantry moves. Alright, risky? Okay, but there's nothing through. So where are you actually allowed to fire? Okay, you can fire all the way out to the end of your range over there. That's actually really good news for us. If I plant them here, they won't be able to fire at that space anyway. I think it's better for the anti-armor team to go here. And then we'll put out a normal group. And I think I'm going to hold on to the other group. I mean, if we set up our own anti-tank weapon here, it's not going to be any good. Yeah, but also I don't intend to move, because my move is this guy moves forward next turn and we deploy the other infantry into his space, so I guess I may as well set up. Doesn't hurt us. And then you... Boy, they brought a lot of anti-tank missiles. They also understand that the tanks in this game are very powerful, and they are ready to fight them. I'm gonna not... You know what? Never mind. I'm gonna back up. I was gonna say we do need to keep line of sight, but right, we have infantry for that now. This is a little scary. They've not really put themselves in a position to be able to, like, blitz us or anything. Jesus, they have a lot of vehicles. Okay, that's kind of what I was worried about. So, plan changes a little bit. I was just sort of hoping they weren't going to do it. Just shoot it really hard. Shoot it hard enough that it goes through the damn trees. So these guys have 2 range on their machine gun, which is really annoying because it makes this move pretty unsafe. I'm going to do this. We're just going to creep forward in the trees. So we did see... We saw something go down here. We don't know exactly where it is right now. Okay, now we do. Well, I'm going to get machine gunned a little bit. I'm going to get slightly machine gunned. We should definitely run the Jeep around here, though, because the infantry that come out of that thing are going to need to get shot up pretty bad. Now, unfortunately, there's no way to move forward. What we can do is just set up right here, I guess. But yeah, they have created a situation where it's impossible for us to move forward. The good news is, we're going to get 10 points. We're going to get 3 tanks in a second here. Honestly, I don't know if it's going to be 3 tanks. Oh, they have artillery. Okay, the game is starting to get, like, a little bit more interesting, right? This is complicating factors. Please hit it. Okay. Can't be too mad about that. It would have been real cool if we'd hit the 4 there, though. So what is going to be the right move for us? We do have to press them. I think I'm gonna go ahead and do this. We're gonna put some pressure on these vehicles. And you are gonna, I guess, go back around? If you roll forward, you die instantly. There's no doubt about that. There's only one possible outcome there. Alright, you are gonna go get me some information on the position of that artillery. Yeah, even moving here kills you... How likely? 2 to 6? Fairly likely. Pretty damn likely, actually. Again, I'm making a lot of assumptions about the, about how even the odds are for these numbers. I'm assuming it's basically rolling a die and that there's no weighting going on, but we don't actually know that. We could roll forward and just hope that they fail to do it, but the fact that our stuff requires setup and their stuff doesn't means that any roll forward strategy is basically suicide, actually. Yeah, that really sucks. That's a tough bit of asymmetry to overcome. So, all of their stuff is armored. which means the 155mm shell here will never be useful. Like, the only thing that this is good against is infantry, and we already are good against infantry. So I guess boy, trying to use a bunch of tanks against all this stuff seems like it's going to be a real nightmare, but honestly, the fact that these things have a 2-range machine gun and a point of armor means that infantry is completely worthless against them. The only way to fight anti-tank weaponry is with tanks. It's a strange decision for the designers to make, but I do think it's actually the case. So we're just gonna bring up some tanks. I mean, another thing you could do is you could buy so many of these vehicles that when you roll them all into range simultaneously for setup, it takes more than 2 turns worth of fire for the enemy to destroy them all. But then after the turn where you move up, where you can't fire, and then the turn where you set up, where you also can't fire, you need to have a force capable of destroying their stationary force, which is just never going to happen, right? The fact that you are at a 2-turn deficit approaching them, yeah, makes that impossible. So do we even want infantry? I mean, this thing seems bad, right? I guess I prefer infantry. At least in theory, you could maybe get close and then anti-tank rocket. It seems unlikely, especially since any infantry are going to have to approach from quite a distance away, because they can't get out of a truck the turn the truck moves. So if the truck ever stops within range of the anti-tank weaponry, you just lose all your infantry when the truck is destroyed. Boy, yeah, this is a tough bit of asymmetry. And we can't play safe because they have artillery. If we had a fast-moving thing that had a weapon on it, I mean, we have the Jeep. So that'll be our plan for dealing with the artillery, is we just have to charge them with the Jeep. And of course, their artillery are never going to miss a shot. Oh, and they have more tanks. Cool. just roll up and one-shot your stuff. Alright, well that's a guaranteed kill. And now that they've refigured their stuff in the way that they have, what do we do? You only having 3 move is pretty rough. Alright, well you guys probably want to move up into here. I may have to figure out a new strategy on this. So yeah, the fact that this machine gun has 2 range is really rough. So we can't even... Yeah, we can't deploy people anywhere near it, and also we will get shot to pieces as we approach it. The only way to deal with these things is to overwhelm them with a number of tanks that can approach them from just outside of their range. Well... do we, like, drive around to here? No, we're still gonna get bottlenecked, though. And there's no way that we could... like, start with faster units and get on the other side of one of these bottlenecks to set up, right? We could take a howitzer and use it to just pound their infantry, but it wouldn't matter. I guess the only purpose of the howitzer is to shoot their artillery from far enough away that they can't shoot you back. So you take a howitzer and one of those observation helicopters. You make sure they don't have any artillery. And then... you can certainly pound all of their infantry to pieces with the howitzer, but the howitzer can never damage a vehicle. And you can't, because all of your stuff takes 1 more turn to set up than theirs does, you can never move forward into them. You can move forward to just outside of their range, even with a vastly superior number. You move forward to just outside of the range and hope that they wander into you because they're dumb. Maybe we use anti-tank teams to try to bait them, because they sure do hate the anti-tank teams. That might work. We don't actually have any other strategies, so so we have to hope that works. All right, I'm gonna roll. God, I hate the setup time. It's a real problem. But I'm gonna roll forward here, and if they let me set up, then no, they have 6 range to my 3 though. It doesn't help. Yeah, I would have to set up here to be at all safe. Well, we'll see what they do. And you're just gonna get machine gunned. Sorry, you're gonna get hatcheted. You have to actually like drive away. There is no safety. You cannot escape. You have to go all the way back here to be safe. Yeesh. So alright, the truck has to drive up this way. We have to like approach this guy from over here. Like park the truck here, get the guys out there, and then just run across the field while it machine guns us, and then the turn that we get adjacent, it just drives away. So there's no 2 to 6. One of us can go here, and one of us can go over here. We can approach with a tank behind the trees and then roll out and just hit it with a moving heat shot. Obviously, moving toward those guys is suicide. Doing anything other than this is suicide. And the Jeep just has to fall back to here. We don't have any other play. Yeah, man. In theory, like, so these anti-tank things are a little bit weaker in actual numbers-to-numbers combat against infantry than they are against tanks, but you will never ever get to shoot them with infantry, because they can shoot you from out of range and then drive away when you get adjacent. So that's going to make it very, very difficult to deal with these. Alright, we did manage to repel him. Hey, Jeep. Go see how repelled. Not repelled, actually. Yep, so this is what I was worried about. Like, I didn't want to move forward because I thought he might still be in range. So I used the Jeep as a potentially sacrificial scout, and it worked. Can't say it didn't work. He is definitely dead. There's no two ways about that. Alright, if we press in on this guy from 2 tiles at the same time, we will at least be able to outdo him. So you now can't be over here, but you can go here and set up, potentially. You guys move. Nope, that space is within range, because every space is within range. Huh. Alright, so the tank needs to end its turn here, so that it has the best possible approach. So we can't use that spot to set up. And there's just nowhere that we can set up. This whole area is a real death trap for me. Like, because it's a narrow passageway and our end is narrower than theirs is, we're hugely disadvantaged fighting here. So when we try this again next time, we want to come through the north more, put pressure on the north, and try to come around behind them and close off their wider entrance. Because we have a similar position over here, where I think this terrain advantages us a little bit. But we have to be careful. We have to make sure that we're holding the control points over here, because obviously, like, not losing the mission is relatively important. I think you actually just roll back to here. You do not get to do anything. Yep. All right. I think that's all we can do for this turn. This is gonna be a tougher one than any of the missions we've done so far, for sure. And they can kind of do what they want as long as they leave this guy right. But then they didn't leave that guy right there, which I would consider to be a huge error on their part. Okay, well, we definitely got to take the no movement shot here. Of course, we don't get it. It kind of goes without saying at this point. Boy. So, Unfortunately, the ruler does indicate broken line of sight. So this space is pretty good. By moving back, they ceded us a pretty solid setup point. We can't roll forward to there, or there, or there. So I guess you just set up right now. We can no longer push forward on these guys because of the position that that guy's in. But what we can do is press toward the tank, I guess. And then you have to be super careful on your approach. Yeah, this is tough. So the howitzer successfully picking off infantry is more annoying than anything else. It is maybe not worth the effort to actually attack it. Like, to do that thing I was talking about with our own artillery and a helicopter. Because it can't damage units that matter very much. And like our infantry are already negated by everything about their units, so the fact that the artillery further negates our infantry kind of doesn't have any meaning. So they can't just... I'm definitely nervous here. So this most of this stuff can't shoot at helicopters. A helicopter for figuring out the positions of their ATGMs is probably worth it. I do see the value in a helicopter for sure. Does this space have... Yeah, it has... Okay, so it doesn't have cover from those spaces, nor does this space. Yeah, we can't move at all without some kind of vision. So a helicopter is going to be very, very useful. You can't roll forward. You can't roll forward. Yeah, so I can't move up at all. So we don't exactly know how their line of sight rules work. It may well be the case that they have actual line of sight the same way we do. But it also could be the case that they cheat, because, you know, AI in a video game sometimes has to be given some abilities the player doesn't have. If they have the same line of sight rules that we do and they legitimately lose sight of our stuff, that means that we can maybe bait them forward by just playing back a little bit. Get them to wander into our range of fire. But that is going to be less likely with them having artillery, or with them having infantry all over the place. You guys got to keep moving forward. Oh, hey, it's some dudes. Well, that's not great. I mean, this truck is gonna... If I move this truck forward like this, it dies. But I think we need the vision. Okay, you don't actually have line of sight, but you totally do. But that tells us where it's safe to move the tanks to. Because we have to press on them, right? But yeah, without knowing whether there's something right there, we can't move anything else. And we're kind of... I'm trying to move stuff around to a position where we could maybe make something happen here. How do we creep forward safely? This bit of forest is the most powerful bit of forest on the map in terms of vision and stuff. We need to, next time, I think, try to get some guys in there as quickly as possible. It's weird that they're all falling back like this. I'm not 100% sure why. Like, it's definitely wrong. It's objectively the wrong move. But we can't figure out what makes their brains tick. We're going to be in trouble here. Okay, so this space is still in danger, and obviously everything else on the other side of the bottleneck. We can roll the tanks forward and start killing these guys, I guess. This space should be totally safe, right? Nope, never mind. They have a thing all the way over there. Okay, so we know that it is, in fact, safe to move forward to here. It's not likely to matter, but it is. This is also safe. This is safe, and we can just do some gunfire. Do some gunfire. And then now that we have an advantage over here, it's safe to press on these guys a little bit. You dudes move forward into these trees. You can go to here safely, but not there, certainly. And then we're probably going to lose this truck this turn, is my guess. So we see the artillery unit. Okay, we got really lucky there. So their thing is only 6 range. They do not have the good stuff. It is a real bummer that this thing does not have a machine gun on it. It doesn't matter a huge amount. I do think rolling this forward is pretty good. This guy's left himself in a position where I can just roll the tank up and take the shot. And in fact, I could do it with 2 tanks. I think we're going to go for it. I think they may have left a weakness here that we can exploit. Alright. Good news, good news. Obviously, we could have hit minimum damage on both those shots and been totally screwed, so that was definitely a plan that relied on luck more than I would like, but also, we don't have any other plans. So if luck is all you got, I guess you gotta play with luck. So you guys move down. You probably don't move at all? I think you don't move at all. Because this guy is necessary to keep this guy from moving here and then them overwhelming that guy. But you can just hide behind this tree over here. Break line of sight a little bit. I think, unfortunately, with all of this added complexity, and I do like the added complexity, I do like that there's more stuff going on, I think it really looks like it is still going to be the case that the only strategy is you just need to have more tanks than they do in a local area, and you just need to rush forward. The fact that defensive play is so advantaged by the system means that tanks are the only way to do anything offensively. You're gonna go grab that. Again, I do wish I had better vision. And then because of the fact that tanks are so 100% absolutely necessary to everything about moving forward in the game, infantry ends up getting pretty undervalued because it's like impossible to use infantry for anything. You're going to press forward to a place that's definitely not safe to give me some more idea of what's going on over here. Oh, damn it. Well, that tank may be dead, and there's probably nothing we can do about it. So let's see. You approach to here. You approach to... This guy doesn't have a shot there, right? No, okay. You move to here so that you're a threat to that other anti-tank thing, and they can do this thing with the anti-vehicle weapon crews in the trees and make things a little awkward for us, but by and large, we're going to be able to just avoid them, I think. Yeah, I don't know why they're all just leaving. Do they suddenly have somewhere else to be? Okay, we just got really lucky there. He hit for super low damage. I mean, they do have limited ammunition. I suppose that could be part of the plan. So you guys take the shots so that you guys can continue moving forward. And then, to be perfectly honest with you, I don't know what the plan is here. I mean, you just barely have range, right? Yeah, so probably it's like we just machine gun the hell out of this crew in the woods here. Because it turns out that tanks are the best weapon against all anti-tank weapons. And you should maybe back it up a step. So this guy's here, right? Maybe back it up a couple of steps. Alright, so we know there's another one of those anti-tank missiles down here, but we don't know exactly where. Do we want to pressure these guys? Because we can step here and we'll win the ensuing trade, but that stops being true if they just move this guy to here, and I can't imagine that they would do anything else. I think I'm just going to run forward. Super weird movement from some of our enemies. Okay, that's true. The artillery does totally beat that truck. I mean, do we just rush them? It kind of seems like they're just gonna let us win, which is very strange. But, like, maybe that's actually the intent? Maybe we're going to find out that for story reasons that makes sense? Alright, so that tank's dead for sure. Can we use its approach? No, we cannot. The other stuff is too far behind. I was gonna say, can we use its approach to cover the advance of our own anti-tank weaponry? But no, we definitely cannot. So this is one of those things where I think we just rush them? We just, like, flood the zone with tanks? I don't know what else to do. I guess this position's slightly better. Right now, this is the only tank that's in range of any of their anti-tank stuff. That probably ought to keep being the case. 1, 2, 3, that'll give you a shot at least. So yeah, you stop here. And then you close to this position. He doesn't have a shot, does he? Oh, he totally does. Well, crud. I guess that tank is dead. Or that truck is dead, rather. You guys may as well just continue creeping forward. But we might be able to just blitz this last point on this next turn. And they may legitimately not be able to stop us. They're continuing to withdraw. Yeah, maybe the thing that's supposed to be happening here is that you are up against a force that is mathematically impossible to defeat, and then they withdraw, and you are left to wonder why. Oh, my phone is ringing, sorry. So speed 4 doesn't get you where you're going. Alright, you need to roll up because we need to be a capture threat. This is the guy with 6 range? Yeah. Alright, I'm gonna move this guy to right here, not our full move distance. But we're just gonna put so much stuff within capture range of that point that they can't possibly stop us. That's my big brilliant plan. You may as well roll over here and roll the dice. Come on, lucky number 4. Ah, okay. 3's not so bad. Yeah, you you gotta imagine there's gonna be an explanation for this behavior, because it certainly doesn't make sense that they're actually trying to win. Very strange stuff. They had such a dominant position. Tell me a story.
Do you consider yourself a loyal man, Lieutenant?
I do, sir.
Loyal to your country?
Yes, sir.
Earlier you said this was about survival. Are you talking about the survival of your country? Maybe you want that cigarette about now.
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, I mean, that suggests that he might talk. We're making some distance here. Okay, and yes, it will tell us every time there's a TIS-330 to capture. And we're getting reinforcements. Hooray! I could really use some reinforcements right about now. Alright, well, I do believe that we are well past out of time. I didn't want to do an episode where there was only like one real mission in it, though. So that's going to be the end of that for today. Thank you all so much for watching. When you come back next time, tomorrow, hopefully we're going to learn a little something about what the hell's going on here. And we'll see you then.